Hello and welcome to another episode of the Foot Geeks. My name is CJ and today we'll be talking about black toenails. Now there's a number of causes that we won't be touching on in this video, such as anemia, diabetes, heart disease, or kidney disease. Those are probably more medical conditions that we don't necessarily have any solutions for at the Foot Geeks, that is. But you may want to see some seek some medical advice for that. If you do have a black toenail, occasionally that may be fungal infection related. Maybe some debris that builds up on the toenail that causes it to look and appear black, and there's some home remedies you can do to kind of reduce that likelihood of that causing any problems, such as little nail tinctures like this, which you can spray on to reduce the thickness of the nail, help it moisturize it a little bit, and then also fight the fungal infection. But one of the things that we really want to touch on is trauma. Now trauma means usually there's something that caused the toe to turn black, and there was something that impacted it, which caused the blood cells underneath the toenail to obviously rupture, and as a result there's some blood that kind of spilled out, causing it to appear black under the nail. Now there's many different reasons as to why that may happen. Perhaps you stubbed your toe on the rock as you were walking barefoot. Maybe something dropped on your toe. Again, you have to figure out what that cause of the black toenail was, and whether or not it was related to trauma. And then some of these solutions that we're going to be offering in the video today are going to help obviously ensure that you're not going to have issues with that in the future. A lot of times we'll see it with athletes, we'll see it with people that are hiking, potentially somebody that's playing in cleats. If you play a lot of turf sports, soccer, maybe rugby, maybe things like ultimate frisbee. A lot of times when you're running on grass and as you start and stop, you can cause the toes to run into the end of the shoe, which can cause the toenail to get hit by the or squished by the end of the shoe, which can cause the blood vessels to rupture and then cause the nail to turn black. Now many times that can be prevented with obviously proper shoe fitting. You want to make sure that when you have a shoe that you have about a finger width of space at the end. That's very, very important. You don't want it to squeeze the toes too much either. Most of the time you want to make sure the toe box has lots of room, so it's not squeezing on the sides, not squeezing on this side, and then also making sure it has enough length at the end so your toe doesn't run into the end of the shoe. That really applies to every shoe that is out there. If you have a hiking boot, if you have a cleat, if you have a running shoe, things like that, you want to make sure your toes have ample space in the front to keep them from getting squished. Now if you do have longer toes on the second and the third toe, which we call Mortons Toe, that sometimes can cause those toes to turn black. And again, when you look at the lengths of the shoe, it really comes down to making sure that the longest toe has about a finger width of space at the end, and that's going to help provide some space that's going to reduce the likelihood of your toes running into the end of the shoe. Now if you play sports like soccer or rugby and such, and you have a lot of issues with black toenails, sometimes what you can use is these little devices right here. Is what we call a toe protector. It's filled with gel on the inside, and it has a nylon mesh on the outside to prevent it from kind of sticking to the inside of the shoe or the sock. And the gel kind of provides a little bit extra padding for the toenail to prevent pressure from becoming an issue. I'm not always certain whether or not that's going to help once you have a black toenail, because this is a little bit snugger to go onto the toe and can cause a little bit of pressure on it. So in some cases that may be uncomfortable when you have the injury already, but it's definitely one way to help kind of prevent things from pressing too much on the toenail, which gives you a little bit of sponge between the toenail and the shoe itself. If you get issues with black toenails due to the fact that toes may be overlapping, so maybe your little toe is going under the fourth toe and it's kind of getting squished like this, you can use things like toe spacers, and this one here is more of a gel spacer, which you can use to prevent the toes from overlapping as easily. It keeps them separated, keeps them from pushing it together, and at the same time you can also use toe socks to help prevent friction and pressure amongst the toes when you're in a sports type shoe. Now if you have any other comments or questions on how to prevent black toenails, and maybe there's some other solutions that you have, please, we would love to hear them. Post them below, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to us on YouTube. We've got lots of content coming, and have a fantastic day.